Well, I met Loretta through Fernando Bojones. She used to sneak in to visit at night. I don't know what they did. He was often distressed the next day, somewhat upset. Often took him a couple of days to get over her visits. She would come over and visit. Sometimes he disappeared. I guess he was visiting her, wherever she was. She may have been over here, but that was before I came. When I came over here, I sent for her. I told Fernando that I had a place for her to stay, and he said if he would let her know. She appeared. She showed up. Said she wanted to live here. And so I gave her a chance. She used to, herself. She used to sing in class, but she doesn't know why. I have a feeling she's going to begin doing it again. Yes, there was definitely some trauma because she disappeared for about 2 years. She went over in the art department to model, and I think the freshmen in the art department traumatized her. She came back with one eye broken after a long absence. And I think she must have been physically abused by her. How should we say? Captors? Yes, perhaps. Did you feel captivated? You are captivating, but you must have been captivated for those 2 years. Show Scott how you can be coy. Ooh, my. She has a lover, you know.
Oh, really?
Matter of fact.
Funny you should say that, because that was one of the questions I was going to ask you.
As a matter of fact, she was an opera star. She thinks that she still is. And she fell in love with a male ballerina who is now in the biology department at Wando High School. His name is Fernando Bojones. And they were in New York City together. They moved down here together. And he wound up at Wando and she wound up at School of the Arts. She was born in Italy, right at the turn of the century. She was young when she died. She was only in her 30s, I think 37. She had a traumatic childhood, but I don't know much about it. I know she won't go to the beach. And she hates airplanes. But she will fly, given sufficient encouragement. But you can't get her close to the sand and the water of the beach. So I guess she had some kind of traumatic experience as a girl. Which I don't understand exactly, because there's no beaches near Verona. She must have had that experience while she was traveling at an early age. You know, she's been a diva since she was a teenager. She was a star in the Italian opera when she was only 17. And she was a star in the New York City opera for 10 years or so before she died. Let's see, Fernando died in 1917, but we don't speak of him as dying, especially, you know, in his presence. And she pined away shortly thereafter. She died of a broken heart, of course. Fernando died in 1917, and she died shortly thereafter from longing and loneliness.
How did he die?
Well, he was an older man. I think he died of natural causes. He was a male ballerina, you know, and male ballerinas have a hard time performing after they get into their 30s. So I guess, I don't know what caused him to die exactly, but he was in his 40s somewhere. and she was in her 20s when they were loving one another. If I remember, I think he was the victim of a triangle, but not involving Loretta. She has a lot of trouble with his extra relationship affairs. I think he was involved with another diva, and her lover and Fernando tangled, and Fernando lost. So Loretta pined away. That's the way it is with great love affairs. They're often rocky and often have sad endings, but while they're alive, they're beautiful things. Isn't that right? Loretta. Problematic, but never bored. She is, after all, a woman, a female. Her personality, she's, how do you say, devilish. Yeah, she likes to cause trouble. She causes trouble for everybody. Students sometimes, if she's somebody that she takes a dislike to, and she does have distinct feelings about students, she will stare at them during the test. Stare and stare and stare and stare unrelentingly until they fail. So you don't want to get on her bad side. I think the cleaning crew comes in and tells her all the good dirt, you know, on the students and the administrators. She likes Miss Caldwell. She's one of the few women that she really likes. She's kind of hot and cold on Miss Marshall, but Miss Caldwell she likes. We have an unusual relationship, as she does with everybody. But basically, my relationship with her is her favorite uncle. I take care of her because otherwise she would be homeless. And in return, she does little things like ignore the fact that you're turning the camera on. She does little favors for me, like singing for the students every now and then, unless she's moody, which she has been for the last few years. Yeah, she likes to talk. She likes to perform, you know, she's a real artist. That's why she's here. She likes to, you know. Fernando is a little bit at sea over at Wando because he's not in an artistic environment. But he had his choice of leaving or staying, and he chose to stay for reasons I don't know. I think he just didn't want to be around Loretta, you know. It's an old love affair. It's probably still painful for them to see each other.
They need distance.
So they need to be across town. Scott. Don't say this. She is a residual person. But her personality is still intact, if not her flesh. She always wanted to be thin. You know, divas are not often thin, and she always wanted to be thin. And now she's gotten her wish. I think when she feels especially thin is when she sings. She likes to go naked too, but we don't often let her do that.
Wouldn't be appropriate around here.
No, certainly not. Without her hair and without her clothes and without her eyes, people think she's just some sort of biological teaching tool. And she's so much more than that. She has personality after all. She's apolitical. She still thinks of herself as a citizen of the world first. So she doesn't get involved in American politics. She's above American politics. She is a citizen of the world. She travels extensively. Yeah, she goes back to Italy quite frequently. Verona is her home. That's where Juliet lived, you know, and Romeo. They were in Verona. And that's her home also. It's a beautiful city. She loves it. And she goes back as often as she can. In the summers. Charleston is much too hot and muggy. I think she has aspirations to teach. She loves to teach singing and opera, but she's not been invited to sing at the School of the Arts or to teach vocalist. But she feels a little hurt that her talents are not demonstrated and appreciated. A long life and much happiness and much mischief.